And of course, let's get to that interview just before news time, and no doubt we'll continue after news. The former Johannesburg Mayor Herman Mashaba has opened a criminal case against the Office of the Public Protector. Now, this follows a leaked draft report which contained adverse findings against Mashaba and former Johannesburg Metro Police Department Chief of Police David Tembe. And commenting on the contents of the draft report, Mashaba says his legal team finds the report flawed in both law and fact. And he also says that the leaking of the draft report to 6 media houses on the same day to coincide with the launch of his book, The Accidental Mayor, was a coordinated and clumsy political effort. The former mayor argues the act of leaking information in the Public Protector's office is a punishable criminal offence in terms of Section 11 of the Public Protector Act. And Herman Mashaba, the leader of the People's Dialogue and former mayor of the city of Johannesburg, joins us now via Skype. Mr. Mashaba, thanks for speaking to us this morning.
Good morning, and thank you very much, and sorry for the delays in getting back to me, and thank you for the opportunity. Yes, the former chief Chief Police Officer of the City of Johannesburg, David Tembe, and I laid criminal charges yesterday against those responsible for leaking a draft report. A draft report, as you are aware, it's a draft report. And the Public Protectors Act, Section 11 thereof, it's really very, very clear around this, that you cannot tarnish someone on the basis of a draft report. But when we brought this matter to the attention, when I started getting inquiries on Friday morning, I immediately brought this to the attention of the Public Protector through my legal representatives, and assured us that on Saturday they will release the statement and stop all these people from leaking a document that is not really accurate, because that document is flawed in terms of law and in terms of fact. So we really quite concerned about this, and we feel our rights have really been abused. We don't really live in a country where state resources are used to fight political battles.
So what exactly are you alleging is flawed and not true in this report?
Very, very, very much far from the truth. As South Africans are aware, for the last 3 years, ANC has been laying charges against me, going to the Public Protector. Every time there's a council meeting, reports passed in council officially, because obviously they are not happy with it and they lose the vote. Then the following day, they rush to the Public Protector. And the Public Protector would obviously investigate this matter. Will give tons and tons of documentations. And strange enough, as South Africans are aware, on the 4th of December, they can check on the Public Protector's website. On the 4th of December, she had a press conference, obviously dropping those cases because she says she found all the allegations unsubstantiated. Now we are surprised. I don't know whether it's the Public Protector reopening the case or whatever she is doing. But at the same time, without giving us an opportunity to respond, because it's a draft report, and my legal team and her made arrangement giving us up to the 19th of June to give our response, and we're still going to do that. Totally unnecessary, expensive process. One thing I want to assure South Africans is that if her final report is going to be as flawed and as illegal as it is as a draft, I can assure people of South Africa I'm going to take this on review. And in the event she loses this case, I would really want her to refund me all my legal costs, including the Public Protector's legal costs, because Public Protector's resources are my taxes. South African taxes that we cannot allow public resources, limited ones. Our kids, they don't have schools. Our people are dying of hunger, that we cannot release that you use state resources for political reasons.
How would you respond to people saying perhaps you doth protest too much at this point, Mr. Mashaba? Why aren't you waiting for the final report? Why all of this action in response to a draft report that was leaked?
Absolutely, that's what it's exactly your question. That you wait for the draft report for the public protector to prepare a final report. You can't just really draft the report and then you leak it to every media house, and then you are accused. You remember on Sunday, most of the newspapers already Mashaba found guilty, public protector to nail Mashaba on a draft report. Why couldn't they wait for the final report before responding to this? Fortunate enough, I'm not the one to teach the public protector the legal constraints under which she operates. Her draft report cannot be leaked. It's a very serious criminal offense. Section 11 thereof. It's a serious offense for anyone to comment on a draft report. So I have no problem. And fortunate enough, the book is out. All these issues South Africans are aware about. We've covered them quite extensively in my book. So obviously, it's Michael Bachmans' book, where I'm the main person featuring in the book.
But surely you and Michael Bowman work very closely together, because when he puts up, messages, exchanges between yourself and Helen Zille, surely you had to have had quite a bit of say into what went into the book.
Yes, absolutely. Sorry, you disappeared. I didn't really get the last few sentences.
No, I was just saying that evidently you had quite a bit of input into what ultimately went into the book, because there are some exchanges between yourself and Helen Zille, for example, that Michael wouldn't have had access to apart from you giving it to him.
Yes, Michael was my chief of staff for 3 years, so that's why when he suggested the writing of this book, I gave him the authority so that I can report to South Africa openly. For the first time, we make history, be transparent to people of South Africa and the world as a mayor, so that I can share with people exactly what South Africa, what our administration was all about.
The appointment of Mr. Tembe, and of course it is said that he was not the top candidate in terms of performance during interviews for the position of JMPD head, but you appointed him anyway. There's also allegations of corruption against you. Nothing new, you know about this. And of course, the links that your wife allegedly had to an NGO that you supported and had funding subsequently channeled to. How do you respond to all of that?
I think, I don't think people of South Africa must be taken as we stupid. We've got a little bit of brains. All these cases, these matters have been dealt with for the last 3 years. There's not a single case that was never dealt in during the last 3 years, including the public protector herself. On the 4th of December, in a press conference, coming out, dropping the cases, because all these cases were laid by the ANC and found them to be unsubstantiated. So how more can we respond? And fortunate enough, all these cases and matters are dealt in the book as well. So any South Africans who's interested in the book, but we will still respond to the public protector. What we want the public protector to do, to find out who leaked this, and criminal charges must be laid against those people, because they broke the law, they damaged our image.
And a final question, why did you resign as Mayor of Johannesburg? Were you pushed, or was that your own decision?
200% my decision. In fact, let me give you the breaking news. First time now to share it with. Yesterday I was so pleased when I met with Chief Tembe at the police station to say, you know what, Mashaba, I feel so abused as well. And I've taken a decision, because they've made me resign, give me a package. Firstly, they were accusing me, and because they could not find anything against me, decided to buy my contract. It says, in a city where there's no money for people in this country, it says, you know what, I'm devoting my life to work with you on a full-time basis. Breaking news, I'm breaking them now on SABC Morning Live. David Tembe has decided to join the People's Dialogue on a full-time basis to ensure that we can see justice in this country. We cannot allow that situation. So I'm really so excited to be having the opportunity to really work with David Tembe.
Wish we had more time. Unfortunately, we don't. Thanks, Herman Mashaba, leader of the People's Dialogue and former City of Johannesburg Mayor, talking to us about why he opened a criminal case against the Office of the Public Protector. And well past news time, but Leanne bringing us up to speed with the latest.